I feel so happy, it still feels like a dream to me. I can't believe I actually can hold your arm, Bayo said. He and Adesua were taking a stroll down the corridor. Well, I actually loved you the very first day I saw you. You captured my heart, Adesua said, smiling from cheek to cheek. But I remember how you gave me hard time. You never showed that you loved me. You were so mean, Bayo said with. His laughter rang deep into the evening. They were both wearing white shirts and blue jeans, as if they had planned it. A lady shouldn't come too cheap, Adesua said. I needed to be sure if you would stay, she said. Bayo burst into laughter. Like seriously? You made me feel you didn't like me. Miriam and God will help me bless that girl. If not for her, you would have never accepted me, Bayo said. Adesua smiled. What did you want to tell me yesterday before Bolu came around? Bayo asked. Adesua buried her gaze on the ground. Bayo, part of the reason why I didn't want to accept your proposal, she said and paused. Yeah? Why? Bayo said. Like I am cursed. I cannot be married to any man, Adesua confessed. Bayo stared at him quizzically, then burst into laughter. You're kidding me, right? Bayo asked Adesua, but she held a straight face. I'm not joking. I was supposed to get married to the chief priest, to a deity in my village, Adesua said. Why? Bayo asked. Well, my mum couldn't have children of her own years after marriage. She went to deity in my village to ask for the fruit of the womb. I was given to her, with a promise to carry out a yearly sacrifice to the deity. Mum fell ill and couldn't continue with the sacrifice. The deity requested that I marry the chief priest. She narrated her story. But why are you telling me? He asked. Bayo, I didn't accept your request because I was scared that you would end up like a boy from my school of lesson. He died when he tried to ask me out. Boys have been avoiding me. I don't want anyone to die because of me, Adesua said. My mum and I went to the shrine and appeased the gods, but I'm still scared that the gods can still strike again, Adesua said. I'm a cat, Adesua. I've 9 lives. We've been in a relationship for 10 months now. Why has the deity not struck me yet? He asked. Moreover, what sort of doctor will you be if you're so superstitious? We deal with facts and science. The chances that the boy's death was unrelated to your fears is large, Bayo said, and he and Adesua sank down on the park bench. Stop kidding, this is serious, Adesua said with a serious face, but Bayo couldn't stop laughing. Leave me alone, I'm not kidding, Adesua said as she pushed him away from her body. On a lighter note, Adesua, is our relationship going to remain unromantic? Bayo asked. I am scared of doing anything after all I told you. You should be running. She said. Bayo burst into laughter. I am Bayo the warrior. I don't fear death. I look at death in the face and say, Death, you can't defeat me. I want to be able to kiss your succulent lips, he said. Adesua blushed brightly like a sunflower. Bayo put his arms around Adesua and planted a soft kiss on her lips. Adesua felt a spark of electricity surge through her body from head to toe. Jesus Christ, it felt like cold water was poured on my body. Is this how kissing feels? Adesua said, giggling. You're funny, Adesua. Is this your first kiss? He asked. She nodded. It's a lie. I don't believe you. You mean no one has ever kissed you? He asked. Adesua nodded. That means I'm the happiest man in the world. I can't wait to tell my mom about you, Adesua. Bayo said. Adesua laughed. Can you travel with me to Akiti this weekend? I want to go and see my mom and dad in Ado Akiti. Please, will you go with me? They'll be happy to see you. Bayo pleaded. No, Bayo, I've never traveled out of Edo State. My dad will skin me if I leave school and go anywhere, Adesua said. When will you be coming back to Benin? Adesua asked Bayo. I'll be back by Wednesday, Bayo said. Adesua embraced him and laid her head on his chest. I'll miss you so much. Those 4 days feel like 4 years, she said. Bayo chuckled. It's getting late. I should start returning to the hostel now. Miriam will soon start calling my number, Adesua said. The two held hands as they walked under the streetlights on the paved roads on campus. Well, let me see you off to your hostel gate, Bayo said. Adesua obliged. They walked for 15 minutes to her hostel gate. Adesua was yearning for a kiss. She wished Bayo would kiss her. She didn't want to initiate the move. It seemed like he could read her mind. He kissed her on the lips. Adesua froze. She felt fire burning in her stomach. Bayo waved at her as she made her way into her hostel. Adesua was working like one who fell into a pool of ice water. She couldn't contain the emotions in her heart. Our wife, how are you doing? The voice of an elderly said Bayo had passed the phone to his mum. It made Adesua blush. She was just 19 and not ready for marriage, but it felt satisfying to be accepted by the mother of a man one loved. "Good morning, Ma," Adesua said, blushing. "My daughter, I cannot wait to see you. My son has told me so much about you, how you've changed his life since he met you." Bayo's mum said, "I'm blown away, Ma, that you have so much admiration for me," Adesua said. "My son showed me your picture, your Agbani Dorego. My son has an eye for fine wine." Bayo's mum said, "Thank you, ma'am. I feel so excited hearing this from you," Adesua said. "Bayo said he had asked you to come along with him. Bayo is my only son. He's already in his 500 level. We want him to get married early, so he can start raising us some grandchildren," Bayo's mother said. Adesua felt a blow in her stomach. She didn't know what to say. Bayo's mum was too straightforward. Ma, I didn't discuss this with my parents. I know they won't want me to talk about marriage now. I still have about 3 years to be done with my program and 1 year for housemanship, so I'm not yet ready for marriage," Adesua said. "Come on, he tells me you're 19 years old. My Bayo will be 25 in 2 months' times. A lady shouldn't stay unmarried for too long. You know, ladies are like flowers." Adesua smiled when Bayo snatched the phone from his mother. She had heard him complain from the background. "Don't mind my mum, Adesua. She's just too eager to get me married off," Bayo said. "I understand, babe. She just wants the best for you. I have to go now. I'll call you later in the evening," Adesua said. Bayo thanked her and hung up. Adesua had been trying to reach Bayo since he left Ekiti heading back to Benin. She had been unable to contact him. They had been spoken right when he was about to board the bus that morning. She even spoke with his sister, who had seen him off to the garage. Till about 12 noon, when his number wasn't reachable. "The number you've tried to call is not reachable at the moment. Please try to call later," the automated voice kept saying each time Adesua called. Adesua was unsettled, pacing around the room. "You're overflogging this issue, Adesua. What if he's in an area without network coverage?" Miriam asked. "Bayo is fine. Don't worry. He will call you when he gets home," Miriam tried to calm her friend. "But it's been 5 hours since he left. He should have been home by now," Adesua blurted. Miriam put her arm around Adesua. "Don't worry, Adesua. He will call." "But did he give you number from any of his family members?" Miriam asked. "Yes, he gave me his sister's number. I've called it severally. The number isn't going through," Adesua said. For 2 days, he couldn't reach anyone from Bayo's family. But on the 3rd day, somebody picked Bayo's call. "Hello, Bayo. Where have you been? I've been trying to call your number. It wasn't reachable. You didn't even try to reach me," Adesua said angrily. "Hello, Adesua. This isn't Bayo. I'm his younger sister. Sorry, Bayo's phone was switched off. We were in the hospital," she said with a raspy voice, like one who had been crying for long. "Hospital? Who? What?" Adesua asked in confusion. Bayo was involved in an auto accident. About 8 people in the bus he boarded died on the spot. Bayo was rushed to the teaching hospital. He was in coma for 3 days. We lost him. Adesua didn't let her complete her statement. She threw herself on the ground and began to scream her lungs out. Miriam ran into the house when she heard the brawling screams from Adesua. "What's it, Adesua?" she asked with concern in her eyes. "I've finished, Miriam. I am dead. Oh, God. Why are you punishing me? What did I ever do to you?" Adesua yelled, rolling on the ground. "What's the problem, Adesua?" Miriam asked, worried. "Bayo is dead. Jesus, Bayo is dead. Why me?" Adesua continued crying as the students poured into her room one after the other. Nobody could console Adesua. Asaro was called. He came to the school and took Adesua back home. The girl spent several days crying. She knew in her heart that if she hadn't said yes to Bayo, that he would have still been alive. She cried so much that her parents lost sleep. As Soro and Atiti were in bedroom, they could hear Adesua's cries as she whimpered all evening. Atiti couldn't keep the secret anymore. She had to let it out. "My husband, I've a confession to make. I am the reason for why Adesua is suffering," Atiti said to her husband. "What did you just say?" he asked. 20 years ago, I couldn't stand Doris's mockery, her jesting. I went to Awera to ask for the fruit of the womb. He gave me and made me promise to bring a yearly sacrifice to the shrine by the stream. I did as I was required for the first few years, until I fell sick and forgot about the sacrifice. The gods has been very unhappy," She said her husband was astounded and had nothing to say. "We want to appease the gods, but seems the gods had not pardoned us. Please forgive me." She fell down on her knees with tears in her eyes. Asoro was speechless. "So, Pastor, that's the story. My daughter has suffered so much in the hand of the deity. No man can come close to her. If they do, they'll die. Please help me, Pastor." Atiti begged as she fell on both knees. "I've been told that you have power. I didn't have any choice. I went everywhere. I couldn't have a child of my own. The deity opened my womb, but the trouble is too much for me to bear." Atiti pleaded on her knees. "Madam, rise up. Adesua, you need a new experience. You need to have Jesus in your heart. You need to make him your Lord and Savior," the pastor said. Adesua nodded and wiped tears building on her eyes. "This isn't a matter of crying. It's a matter of you believing in Jesus and his atoning blood. You will be free," the pastor said. He put his hand into his breast pocket of his black suit and removed a white handkerchief. "I believe, sir, I believe," Adesua said, still crying. The pastor prayed for her and told her she had been freed from the power of Awera. For the next 2 years, Adesua avoided men. On a cold, rainy night, Adesua was on her bed when she felt herself being summoned to the water shrine of Awera near the stream. Worshippers of Awera had assembled. They had bodies' heads with no nose, eyes, or mouth. They looked like beasts from a horror world. Osamebe, the chief priest, was standing in front. He was the groom, a white wrapper tied around his waist. She saw the old witch. She had a mean and stern look on her face. "What we have gathered today to do is the wedding ceremony of our chief priest and priestess. Adesua was born of Awera. He had chosen her to be the chief priestess." The old woman said, "Bring the razor blade." The woman said in an angry voice. A man brought a razor blade. The woman grabbed Adesua's hand and cut it open. She struggled to remove her hand from the woman's grip, but her grip was like iron. She couldn't. Asamede's finger was cut open too. The old woman glued their fingers together for the blood to mix and the two become one. "Today the two of you have been married in the spirit world. No man shall come between you," the old woman said. Adesua couldn't say anything. She sobbed all through the ceremony. Asamebe made love to her that night. It was so painful. Adesua kept crying in her room. Miriam rushed to wake her up from sleep. "Adesua, why are you crying?" she asked Adesua. She couldn't talk. She felt wetness in her tight. She rushed to the bathroom to check if she was still dreaming. Her black tight was soaked in her blood. "Oh God, what is this?" Adesua wept silently. Miriam ran in to meet her. "What's it, Adesua?" Miriam asked with a look of concern over her. "It's getting worse, Miriam. I was wedded to the chief priest in my dream, and I was disvirgined by him in my dream. See me bleeding, my hymen is broken. What am I going to do? I'm tired," Adesua cried. Miriam hugged her. "Babe, you need to go to the pastor. This is no longer funny," Miriam said. The two stayed awake till the next morning. From that day onwards, the nightly visits became regular. The entity came to make love to her 3 times a week. A mean-looking man escorted her wherever she went. He was invisible to the ordinary eyes, but only those with spiritual eyes could see it. It wore a white wrapper around his waist. A white chalk painted its left eyes with red beads around its neck. It brought misfortune to any man who looked at Adesua. For 5 years, no man showed interest in Adesua. People wondered why a beautiful girl as herself would never have a man to approach her. She was always voted most beautiful girl in her department by her coursemate, but to her, HR beauty was a curse. She couldn't have a love life of her own. "Daddy, I'm tired of this life. I don't want to live anymore. What's the use? I am 25 years old now. I've never had a boyfriend. No one says I'm beautiful. Men avoid me. I didn't bring this upon myself. I am tired. I can't go on anymore." Adesua cried to her father. "I thought you had been over that phase," Asoro said. "No, Dad, the chief priest comes to sleep with me 2 to 3 times a week. How can I get married? Men say my face changes to that of a wild beast each time they try to approach me," Adesua said with tears falling from her eyes. "Don't worry, we have to go back to the chief priest. He would know how to undo whatever they've done," Asoro assured Adesua. The next morning, Asoro and Atiti took Adesua to the house of the chief priest. They narrated her ordeal to the priest. I can never touch Adesua. She's like a child to me. Ewara can be mischievous. I don't want to marry many wives like my father. I have told the gods that I don't want Adesua. She's a child. The gods can be stubborn. I'm going to persuade it, the chief priest said. What do you want us to do, so she can be free? Asoro asked. The chief priest consulted with the gods and told Asoro the deity requested for 3 black male cows with 50 bottles of schnapps and a basket of kola nuts. In 3 days' time, Asoro provided all the chief priest requested for. At about 6 a.m., they followed the chief priest to the house shrine for the procedure to commence. Ewara, I am your spokesman. Your eyes, Ewara, I beg of you. I don't want this girl for wife. I'm okay with the wife you've given me. Please name your price. The father is ready to pay. Don't make her suffering go on. The chief priest Osamebe said, Osamebe, you're getting me angry. This woman must be taught a bitter lesson. She cannot take from me and fail to fulfill her promises. Ewara said to the priest, My lord, they have come along with cows and wine to appease you. I beg you to pardon her. The girl is tired. The chief priest begged the figurine belonging to Ewara, pouring the bottles of schnapps over its head. Good evening, our in-laws-to-be. You know it's a beautiful thing for a girl to be raised well. Suitors start coming from all directions. The patriarch of the suitors' family said, Our son here, Johnson, saw a beautiful flower that's ready to bloom in your house. The man said. Asoro sat proud like a peacock, spreading his feathers wide. Thank you, Elder Osas. You're all welcome to my humble abode. There's nothing more happier for a man than to see his daughter getting married off to a responsible family. My daughter Adesua is the pride of my eyes. She's the only girl I have in the midst of 10 boys. Asoro said. He cleared his throat by coughing a few times. We know we asked about your daughter around. We were told that she was well brought up and well trained. In Nigeria, it's not easy to train a medical doctor. Johnson's father said, We have come to officially ask for the hand of your daughter in marriage. Elder Osas said. Atiti was smiling with joy and pride. I am not the one to pick a husband for my daughter. Adesua is here. She'll come and answer your question. Asoro said. He motioned for his younger sister to go and fetch Adesua from her room. She was wearing a blue gown. She walked calmly to the sitting room, which was filled with guests from Johnson's family and Asoro's family. The women began to scream with joy when Adesua came out of her room. Johnson was so shy, he was almost hiding his face. His younger brother hit him with his elbow to sit upright. Mr. Johnson, Osas, is this the woman you found in my house? Of course, I've only one daughter, he said. Johnson smiled. Yes, sir, she's the one, the young man said. Asoro nodded. Adesua, do you like this man and would want to marry him? Asoro asked. Adesua shyly nodded. The room erupted with rounds of applause. Okay, you can hand me the bottle of wine, Asoro said to the patriarch of the Osas family. The bottle of red wine was handed to Asoro. I hereby accept this marriage. I pray that God bless it. We will proceed with the list and then you fix the wedding date, he said, while Atiti and the other women began to bring in the food and beverages. The men spoke and laughed. Adesua and Osas spoke calmly as if they were in a world alone. Adesua had rejected Johnson over 5 times. He was a laboratory scientist at the government hospital where she worked. Though it had been 6 years since Bayo passed on, the scar was like it just happened yesterday. He refused to give up. The 5th time he blocked Adesua's car. You must tell me the reason why you have been turning me down, Dr. Adesua. Is it because you're beautiful? Or because you're a doctor? There's nothing I've not done to catch your attention, he said to Adesua at the car park. Adesua burst into laughter. Why are you laughing? He asked her. Is it because you think I'm not up to the level of the person who can love you? He asked. That's not it. You see, let's go to the cafeteria. I'll tell you some secrets about me. If you can stay, then I'll happily accept your proposal, Adesua said. He boldly led the way. So try to scare me away, Johnson said when they had settled in. You see, I don't feel beautiful. My beauty is a curse on me, Adesua said. Johnson stared on confusedly. Okay, go ahead, he said, arms folded over his chest. I was gotten from a deity. My mum had married my dad for several years. She couldn't bear children of her own. She kept having miscarriages, and then she could no longer have them at all. But when she went to a deity in my village, she was given pregnancy, and I was born. Adesua said, "Deity cannot give babies, only God can," Johnson said. "So many people say, so they were rituals my mum was supposed to do on annual basis. But she didn't, which got the gods angry. It has been chasing men away from me from my teenage years. About 2 boyfriends of mine died tragically, so I stopped having anything to do with men. I don't want more people to die because of me." Adesua got up and grabbed her car keys and backpack. Johnson held on to her hand. "You cannot just say all this and want to walk away without hearing what I've to say," he said, holding her down. "Adesua, I'm ready to take the risk. The sweetness in my soul, since the day I first saw you, is worth dying for," he said. "Nobody is worth dying for, Johnson," Adesua corrected him. "Has your parents taken you back to the deity to appease the gods?" he asked. "We've done sacrifices twice. After the first sacrifice, my boyfriend in the university died. After the second sacrifice, I've avoided men like plague. I'll advise you to run for your life. You cannot die for something you know nothing about. Maybe I'll go and marry the chief priest so we can all have peace," Adesua said. Johnson burst into laughter. "I can't imagine a medical doctor working as a native doctor. Isn't that ironic?" he said. Adesua managed to smile. The sound of acoustic guitar and the deep sound of the bass drum filled the spacious compound in a Soros family compound. The women were busy preparing party jollof. 3 cows were slaughtered for the event. Dignitaries from the governor's office where Asoro worked came in their numbers. Also, bankers and members of press. Johnson's father was a renowned journalist in the country, so the compound was filled to the brim. Few days to the traditional wedding, Asoro had paid a visit to the shrine of Awera to appeal with Osamabe, the chief priest, to talk to the gods and ask for any sacrifice it would want before Adesua could be given out in marriage. The chief priest demanded for kola nuts and black male cow. He blessed the marriage and told Asoro Awera had blessed the marriage. The ceremony began with Adesua dancing out of the main house into the open space in her father's compound. Doris stood like a stranger, not participating in the event. She snarled when Adesua got close to her. Adesua was wearing a red lace gown. A beaded crown covered her head. The lady screamed with joy when she stepped into the middle of the compound. She danced to the beats and rhythm of the live band. Johnson sat by his father's side. He was wearing a white Niger Delta shirt with a red Holodix wrapper. A round hat sat on his head. The event progressed to the point Adesua was told to go and look for her husband in the crowd. She was given a cup of palm wine. She began to search for Johnson from roll to roll until she came upon him. She knelt before him and handed the cup of palm wine to Johnson. He collected the cup and downed the content in one gulp. He rose up to lift Adesua from her knees. Johnson fell to the ground. The joyful roar turned into a cry of horror. Family members rushed to Johnson's side to check on him. After about 5 minutes of trying to resuscitate him, a black SUV drove into the middle of the compound and Johnson was put in. "Jesus Christ!" Adesua kept screaming as she jumped into the SUV. Johnson's family didn't want her to go, so they asked Asoro to remove his daughter from the car. They zoomed off with Johnson to the hospital. "That Awera has done it again. I'm finished," Adesua cried in her bedroom. Doris couldn't help but laugh. "Ah, they thought they could mock me with their marriage. Ha ha, he has died," she kept laughing. Adesua began to cry to God to spare Johnson. Soon the news came back that Johnson didn't make it. She cried her eyes out, then snuck out of the house. She got on a motorcycle and went to the shrine. She met mourners mourning the death of Osamabe. They said he had died that morning. Adesua took advantage of the pandemonium in the compound. She snuck to the shrine and set it on fire. The fire had climbed to the roof of the shrine. She went to the stream shrine and tore the white wrapper that was wrapped around the Iroko tree. "You've choose to make me an unhappy. I have burnt your shrine. I will burn down this tree." Adesua dared Erara. "You're a wicked deity, a foolish deity. Do your worst." Adesua barked at the tree. An orb of light flowed from the tree into Adesua's forehead. She began to scream. She turned round and round like one possessed with legions of devils. She removed her shoes and began to run barefooted. She was talking to herself and laughing senselessly. The news soon spread like wildfire. From being a bride in the morning to becoming a widow in the afternoon, to running raving mad. Adesua was barking at random people on the road. The girl was throwing stones at people who gathered to watch her. Atiti and Asoro drove to the market square, where Adesua sat and was speaking gibberish to the people. "Oh, leave me alone. Mummy, leave me alone. This is my home. I am not going home." Adesua barked at her mother, almost biting her. "Adesua, please let me take you home. Johnson did not die. His mother just called me." Atiti lied to Adesua. "You're a liar. My Johnson has gone to the United States of America." Asoro rushed in and grabbed his daughter. He forcefully bundled him into the car. They began to move with her, from one church to another, praying for a miracle. But she wasn't getting well. "God, what did I bring upon my daughter?" Atiti sobbed. Asoro put an arm around her shoulders. "You didn't bring this upon Adesua. It's the fault of the wicked deity. It killed its own mouthpiece. Who will it not hurt?" Asoro asked. "I'll personally have that Iroko tree cut down. How can the people still believe such an atrocious, devilish deity? I'll make sure the deity leave this land." Asoro snapped inside one of the prayer houses, where Adesua was chained down with a big chain. She was sitting on the bare floor, mumbling insane things. Atiti just kept praying for God's intervention. They had gone to the house of the chief priest and saw the calamitous cries by his wife and children. They blamed Asoro for bringing death to the chief priest. They chased them away, showing them the shrine Adesua had set on fire. It had burnt to the last pin on the ground. Asoro angrily drove to the house of the clan head of Agwoma. He was fed up with the tricks the gods had been playing with his daughter. The chief met him outside of his house. "Chief Esaboa, tell me what's wrong with the Awara. What does he want from me? I did everything he asked. I gave a cow as customs demands. Why would the gods kill my soon-to-be son-in-law in my own house?" Asoro barked. "How are you sure it was the gods?" Chief Esaboa said. "Then tell me why Osamabe had to die today. If Awara thinks it's mischievous, I'll show him mischief. My daughter is raving mad as we speak," Asoro barked. "I'll advise that you seek the face of Awara. Don't make a wrong move, Asoro," the chief begged. "I've played by its rule. A stupid deity who cannot save its people," Asoro barked. "I'm going to bring down the tree. I'll cut it down," Asoro threatened. "You shall not do such, Asoro." The chief stood up to Asoro's face. "Your daughter set fire on Awara's shrine, and she was stoned with madness. What do you think Awara would do to you if you tamper on her sacred tree?" The chief asked Asoro. "We shall see what it would do," Asoro said, and got into his car. He put his car in reverse and drove to a nearby village, where a powerful juju priest resided. The man charged Asoro to chase away the spirit of Awara from Agwoma. They got 2 timbermen and took them to the sacred stream. Their chainsaw wouldn't work until the juju priest spoke some incantations and ordered the men to start cutting the 100-feet tree. The men spent all morning cutting into the wood. A red stream of blood began to flow from the body of the tree. The lumbermen ran away, scared of such strange happening. Soon the villagers had gathered to watch the strange phenomenon. They were perplexed to see somebody cutting the sacred tree. When the youths mobilized and tried to attack the lumbermen, he spoke incantations. They got confused and began to fight between each other. The juju priest sang incantations and danced around the tree severally before asking the men to continue cutting. After about 6 hours of cutting, the bleeding tree fell to the ground. Asoro and the native doctor with the lumbermen headed back to the town. He paid the men and they all parted ways. The lumberman sat between the lumbermen on their motorcycle as they cruised down the road towards their village. The motorcycle they were riding on flipped and sent the 3 men straight under a truck which climbed over them. The 3 men died on the spot. In the prayer house, Adesua regained her senses and began to wonder why she was looking so dirty. Atiti reminded her of what she had been through for days. She couldn't believe that Johnson had just died because of her. Atiti spent the whole day consoling her. A black Prado drove into the church premises. A familiar man got out of the car. Immediately, her eyes met his. She froze. It seemed she knew the man. He went to the house of the owner, or the church, which was just behind the compound. The woman escorted him back 30 minutes. He saw Adesua and walked up to her. "You look so familiar," he said to Adesua. She ignored him and kept staring at the blackness in front of her. "Do you know her?" his aunt asked. "I think she's a friend from my teenage years," the young man said to his aunt as they walked towards his car. "So, you know her? She's a medical doctor. Her parents brought her here. Her fiancé died on Wednesday during their traditional marriage." That girl is suffering. She's under the spell of a deity, the prophetess said. The young man got into his car. He had a flashback, a vivid memory of how the entity had warned him to stay away from the lady. He got down from his car and walked up to Adesua and her mother. The both had left their sitting position and were going back to the church. Adesua! Adesua, stop! He ran up to her. His aunt turned when she heard him calling her name. Adesua, do you remember me? He said. When he caught up to Adesua and her mother, she glared at him confusedly. She didn't have a word to say. I'm Pere, the boy who approached you from junior secondary school, Pere said. Adesua had a placid, deadpan face. She didn't react to his comment. She turned and began to walk into the church. She refused to talk to him. 3 days later, Wisdom, one of Adesua's son, ran to the church. Mummy, we need to go home now, he yelled. Atiti's blood turned to water. What happened at home? She's asked. Mum is daddy, he's dying, the boy said, almost screaming. Adesua and her mother got on a motorcycle, and Wisdom, the Okada men, faced Igwoma at full speed. It was a marvel to the people that the tree that was sawed down rose up back and stood in its position it was before it was cut down. People came from far and wide to capture the unbelievable truth of a tree rising 4 days after being cut down. People feared the gods and ran away from the stream. The news cut fire all. People couldn't believe it. They thought it was fiction. Dad, I'm sorry. I brought this upon you. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Adesua cried. Asoro lay in bed, his skin scalded like he was burnt on a pyre. Don't, my daughter. I don't regret what I did. Give me the opportunity. I'll do it over and over again for your happiness. Asoro said with a melancholic air around him. He had asked everyone to leave the room, that he wanted to speak with Adesua alone. I asked that Pastor Pere. They say he's very powerful. I want him to pray for me before I die. Asoro said, No, Daddy, you cannot die. I need you alive. Adesua pleaded with tears in her eyes. Asoro chuckled. Soon the pastor came into the house. Atiti led him into the room. Good day, sir. How are you doing? Pere said to Adesua's dad. He chuckled again. I am not fine, but I don't regret it. I called for you here because my time is near. I want you to pray for me, Asoro said, struggling to speak. I've been a traditional man all my life. I want to know Jesus before I die, Asoro said. The pastor held Asoro's hands and said prayers over him. Pastor Pere, please help my daughter, free her from the shackles. He couldn't finish his statement before he went still. Adesua began to pry her lungs out. Pere tried to console her, but she was inconsolable. Atiti and Doris rushed into the house. They began to cry. One by one the boys came. Pere helped the boys wrap Asoro in the bedsheet and put him in the back seat of his SUV. His corpse was taken to a mortuary. Asoro was buried 2 weeks after his death. Adesua refused to hear the consoling words of people, telling her it wasn't her fault. She knew her father died because of her. Doris took ill. Her body began to swell up. The pains was tense and incomprehensible. She would be screaming that ghosts are in her room. She begged that she should be returned to her parents' home. She couldn't bear the torment and the pains. Pere fell in love with Adesua, but his parents, though were pastors, refused to let the marriage go on for 1 year because they feared for their son's life. Pere knew the demons and what they could do. He went into fasting and prayers. Owara and its people didn't give up. They kept on appearing before Adesua and Pere to warn them. Adesua learned how to soak herself in prayers. A sunny afternoon, the heavens rumbled, and a lightning stroke the 100 feet Iroko. The tree tore into two and fell to the ground. Blood continued sprouting out. The fire that came with the thunder burnt the tree to crisp. Pere spent over 2 years to convince his parents. They allowed him to marry her. The wedding ceremony held almost 2.5 years after the death of Johnson in that compound. The traditional wedding was done. The English wedding also was done. Adesua moved to Abuja to live with her husband Pere.